So tomorrow I'll be flying.
Hallelujah. Don't make him laugh.
It just isn't that simple.
Is that why this seat was available?
You got it.
I never even thought about it. I
Yeah.
just never even thought about it. Saw
She
that.
wants to be in the center of the screen. All right, some of you have seen the first half of this presentation, and I put it into a PowerPoint form. Starting off with the most simplest of questions is, who is God? And that's because we as the church are all about God. And so, I mean, it's obvious to us that God is Father, Jesus, and Spirit. And I use the symbol of the Trinity for a couple reasons. One, it is one of the traditional symbols, but to show the fact that they are interconnected, they're one, and they also relate to each other. And I think that's significant in how God relates to us. He wants to call us into what Richard Rohr calls the divine dance, where each is a partner with the other. Now, one of the things I talked about last time was how we can have different views of God and emphasize different pieces. And actually, I realized after I got this done, I probably should have done a slide in which they were disconnected. Because I was trying to do it so, say, Jesus would be really big and the Holy Spirit and the Father really small, but you can't do that with a triangle. It's just a limit to how small you can make it. But I think in the Lutheran Church, if there's any fallacy we have, it would make the Holy Spirit small. And we also have images where God is very big, where God is very central. And then we have images where God is just sort of off to the side. He's there, vague awareness, which is actually probably where most of the world is most of the time. All right, so this is our image of God. And one of the things I talked about is when we know God in different ways. And so we call God Father, which God is, but the word parent picks up, God is neither male nor female, so it picks up both sides. God is a guardian, a protector, we say that. And then finally, God is a creator. And I use the word incarnation, which we usually use with Jesus, except for the fact that God makes himself known in creation itself. And that God's very being is found. I mean, this is where most people begin with their understandings of God. They look out and see, especially this time of year, and say, there must be a God. Well, with this kind of beauty, there must be a God, even with the rain. We wouldn't have the pretty flowers. With Jesus, we receive these three concepts. The Old Testament spoke of God as God being a God of grace, but as John says in his prologue to his gospel, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. It wasn't until we realized that everything comes as free gift, Jesus' great love comes to us, that we really learn what the essence of God is. And once again, although the Father and the Holy Spirit also bring forgiveness, one of the big awarenesses that Jesus brought is he forgave. And I think the most dramatic example you all heard when it said, I can send you the PowerPoint.
That's all right.
And you can...
Are you nervous now?
No. You're recording the whole thing. Oh, I thought you were just...
No. Taking pictures. No, I'm recording.
Okay. Wonderful.
I'll preview it first.
Well, I've learned how to upload to YouTube now, even so. And then I find that Jesus brings us life, in that he brings us all that makes us whole. And so that's how I understand Jesus. And finally, when I talk about this Holy Spirit, I think the Holy Spirit brings us three things. He brings us the power of the Spirit, he brings that sense of peace, and he brings the awareness of the presence of God. In fact, that's sort of where I know when I'm, quote, in God or out of God, is do I have that sense of peace and have that sense of presence of God? And I may be thinking holy thoughts, but if the dog walks in front of me and I kick it, I think, oh, well, maybe there may not be quite as much holiness going on as I was thinking. So, what is the mission of the